Okay, so we're trying to determine which lens is the sharpest lens for 4K. Now I'm using the 28mm to 105 Canon lens. It's a 28 to 105 Canon lens. This is the Sigma lens, the 18 to 250mm Sigma lens. Okay, and now we're using the 60mm Canon lens. It's the 60mm EOS Canon macro lens. And again, we're trying to determine which is the sharpest lens. Okay, so once again, we're trying to determine which is the sharpest lens. The focal length is this 60mm. I'm using the Canon 60mm macro lens. And we're trying to determine the sharpest lens. So this time, we're using the 28mm to 105 lens at approximately 60mm, and again I'm using the Canon 28mm to 105 macro lens, and it's set at approximately 60mm. We're trying to determine which is the sharpest lens. Okay, and now we're using the Sigma. It's a Sigma lens, 18 to 250mm Sigma lens, and it's set at approximately 60mm, and we're trying to determine which is the sharpest lens. So okay, we're still at it, and we're trying to determine the sharpest lens. Now I'm using the 18mm to 250mm Sigma lens, and we're trying to determine the sharpest lens. We're going to find out. Again, we're trying to determine the sharpest lens. This is the 60mm Canon lens, 60mm macro lens, EOS lens. And again, we're trying to determine the sharpest lens. Okay, so now we're still trying to determine the sharpest lens. We're using the Canon 28mm to 105 lens, and it's set at approximately 60mm, and we're trying to determine the sharpest lens.